Marcus Rashford has become the sort of PM for the working class people, really, hasn't he? And you can't beat somebody with his experience, really, because most of the cabinet and the shadow cabinet, they don't understand poverty. I understand poverty. I was born into poverty. So was Marcus Rashford. And so me personally, I would absolutely keep that £20 uplift. And we have to start properly taxing the rich. That's my kind of opinion on it. And we don't. We failed that completely. So, but I do take your point. I completely take your point. What do you think the solution is?
I mean, we know that the government have like record numbers of vacancies available. They've just launched 5,500 visas for poultry workers, for people abroad to come in and do the jobs. Why aren't British people taking those jobs? And they can actually earn that £20 more, or even better, come off universal credit altogether. So for me, I think we need to kind of take a hard look at ourselves as a society. The visas for 5,000 HGV drivers and 5,500 visas for poultry workers for the next 3 months in the run up to Christmas to help ease the pressure. Obviously, we see on the news about the fuel shortages and empty shelves. I wanted to take this headline and kind of so these are for foreign workers, by the way, and I wanted to kind of take a Brexit edge on this headline and say, wasn't the whole point of Brexit was we can control immigration? And I'm sure many Brexiteers, hardline Brexiteers, I voted Remain, but I accept that we left, and I do actually see benefits of us leaving. But wasn't the hardcore kind of Leave campaign saying we don't want immigration? And then there's kind of trade union bodies having a go at Boris Johnson, saying, why are you hiring foreign people? Why are you getting foreign people to do this work? Why can't British people do it? Right. So it's a very interesting kind of dynamic we're in, where it was about immigration with Brexit partly, and now we are starting to control our immigration and bring people in. How does that fit in with the Brexiteers? I think the media has turned it to be a fuel shortage when, I think, for all intents and purposes, and doing a bit of background research, we have got enough fuel. We just haven't got people to deliver it. And so the narrative is picking up and whipping up the public to say that we have a fuel shortage, when it's not a fuel shortage, it's a truck driver shortage.
Let's get straight into it. And one of the things that you absolutely wanted to tackle was this whole issue of this shift to coercion in public health and policing. Let's get straight into it, David.
Sure, yeah. Basically, it used to be the case that public health was managed through advice that was given to citizens. For example, wash your hands, take this medicine if you're sick. Perhaps if you're sick during an epidemic, stay at home, and citizens would responsibly take on board that advice in their personal circumstances and act on it if they believed that it was wise and if they agreed with it. But during this pandemic, remarkably, there was a massive turn to coercion. Basically, we will coerce you for your own good into behaving responsibly. And one of the terms I use to describe this is collectivism, a turn to collectivism, where basically, instead of trusting individual citizens to make the right choices in their lives, we trust experts who then act on behalf of all of us, right, and tell us how to live, essentially. And this indicates a very profound distrust in citizens, in their judgment, in their ability to make responsible choices. And it's not just coercion, it also leads to manipulation, because when you distrust citizens, and you treat them like children, what you end up doing is then you decide, well, we'll use fear, we'll manipulate them, we'll pull on their emotional strings so that they will fall into line, instead of using reason. Instead of actually reasoning with them and explaining the situation, we exaggerate the fear so that they will fall into line.
Now, Adrian, you're speaking to us from Australia. Thank you so much for being here today. Tell us what's going on. I mean, we're hearing crazy stuff. No jabs, no job, hard lockdown, quarantine camps, police states, rubber bullets fired at protesters. It's insane.
It's absolutely insane, Sonia. It's look, I'm quite blessed. I'm in Queensland, which has got a population of about 5 million people, and we've only had 7 deaths here in Queensland since COVID started. So we've had a couple of small 3-4 down lockdowns here and there. The border between Queensland and New South Wales is closed, which is about half an hour's drive from where I live. So we have regular demonstrations on the border there because the borders are closed. Right. Despite only having 7 deaths in Queensland, they won't let anybody in from interstate. It's absolutely ludicrous what's going on here. And in Victoria, Sonia, yeah, my heart goes out to all those brave souls that are going on the street. The union members, all the people getting out, and they're being smashed by some police. I'll be really clear about that. I work with police in some of my work, and I have a lot of respect for most of the police. But what I'm seeing down there, what we're seeing down there in Melbourne in particular, these last few weeks has been nothing short of draconian, Orwellian behaviour, smashing people, spraying old ladies with sprays. You've probably seen some of the news.
Terrible stuff. It's shocking. It's so bad. People don't actually believe that it's real. I mean, many people think that this is all fabricated. And as you said to me yesterday, it's horribly real. And as you said to me yesterday, we are the big experiment.
Yes. Yeah. And look, Melbourne's got the most solid lockdown laws in the world, Sonia, in the world. And just getting some stats here for you. New South Wales, which has got a population of 6 million people in New South Wales. Australia in total is about 26 million, just to give you an idea of population of Australia. To date, we've had 1,231 deaths out of 26 million people. Now, I want to be clear about this because they've just changed the language on the government sites here, on the COVID safe sites. They used to say died of COVID. And they've just changed that narrative to die with COVID.
Oh, right. Gillian, when I read your story last week, it was such a bittersweet story. It's like it made me cry, but it made me cheer for you. And basically, first of all, we should say Gillian passed her HGV license on Friday. Well done. That's the closest I've got to whistles. And obviously we have a shortage of HGV drivers. So congratulations to you. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Why did you choose to retrain? I should say Gillian is a children's author. And last year, something rather profound. You had a rather profound experience, didn't you? And that sort of made you look at the world in a slightly different way. Tell us about it.
I did, yeah. So I'd been gender critical for a while. In that, I believe in women's sex-based rights. I believe that those should be preserved for single-sex spaces. And I'd been tweeting about this for a while. Since at least 2017, and nobody had said boo to me about it from the publishers or anything. In 2018, my agent finally said, for future reference, I don't think you should be tweeting about this. So I sort of slightly reluctantly made an anonymous account. And I started, just using my own account for professional stuff. But fast forward a couple of years, and things were getting much more intense in this debate. Rachel Rooney, who is another children's author, she'd written this beautiful little picture book, My Body Is Me. And it was all about celebrating the bodies, children celebrating the bodies that they have, and there's nothing wrong with them. Right. But she was absolutely piled on. She was eventually kind of driven out of children's publishing And I finally thought, I've got to say something about this in my professional account. So I did. I spoke about it, and I said it was absolutely disgraceful. And I think a month or two later, the J.K. Rowling incident happened. Right. And I also tweeted about that. J.K. Rowling had been, piled on loads of abuse. So I added the hashtag I stand with J.K. Rowling to my Twitter handle. And that kind of instigated a pile-on. That was blood in the water. And for about 24 hours between the 25th and 26th of June last year, I was the subject of a Twitter storm, and it wasn't nice. There was loads of abuse, death threats, rape threats, the usual that women get on Twitter. And at the end of it, on the 26th of June, I was fired from my job.
I think the same as what Gillian was saying, it comes to a point where you feel like your silence is part of the problem. For me, if you're silent, you're not giving other people the opportunity to speak out as well. So I was sat and, we were all in lockdown, and I was thinking, what have I got other than words? All I've got is words. It feels like it's not enough, but if that's all I've got, that's what I'm going to use. So I kind of sat and thought about all the women speaking out, my J.K. Rowling, all of these women speaking out, and I had to do something. So I wrote a song that, for me, I just wanted to do something positive. I didn't want to tie into any of the negativity and the anti this and the anti that. It is pro. So it's just pro women. Do you know what I mean? My song it's one of the most important songs to me, because it is just saying thank you to the women out there and trying to encourage other women to speak up and be themselves. And when I sing it in the street, even though I think people don't know, obviously, the backstory, the women just make eye contact with me, and young girls, and I just think this is, one of my favourite songs.
Well, and you're here to sing it live for us.
I am.
Wonderful. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
Yeah. La da dee da da da. I feel like words aren't enough, but your silence is deafening, so I call your bluff. Your quietude is deadly, my words are a bomb. Your stillness is the detonator, my words are wrong, but I still speak them. You can tell me later, 'cause I don't, quite frankly, give a damn. I'm woman, so take me as I am. And I'm handy with the pen, and I speak my words with truth, so you could try to follow me. I'll tell you it's no use, 'cause I can show you the way, but still you can't walk in my shoes and see my heart is pure, and so I've got nothing to lose. And I don't, quite frankly, give a damn. I'm woman, so take me as I am. Take me as I am. Shoo-doo-doo, dee-da-dee-da-da. La-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I feel like words aren't enough, but your silence is deafening, so I call your bluff. Your quietude is deadly, my words are a bomb. Your stillness is the detonator, my words are wrong, but I still speak them. You can tell me later. I don't, quite frankly, give a damn. I'm woman, so take me as I am. Take me as I